So you're thinking of moving to a suburb here in the Wichita, Kansas area, but you're not quite sure which one's going to be the best fit for you. Whether you're looking for top-notch schools, quiet neighborhoods, good food, or you just want to know where's the closest grocery store, I got you covered. Today, I'm going to be breaking down for you the top 10 suburbs here in the Wichita, Kansas area. I'm covering everything from population to home prices, property tax rates, and school districts. And get this, I'm also giving you a full-on vibe check for each of the suburbs. Does it have a grocery store? Where's the closest gas station? And on those nights when you don't feel like cooking, where can you go to quickly grab something to eat so you don't have to give away a whole mortgage payment and DoorDash fees? We're getting into all of it right now. What's up, beautiful people? My name is Regina Hill Goddard. I'm a realtor here in the Wichita metro area. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, let me give you a little bit of info that's going to help kind of make more sense of how the suburbs here in the Wichita metro area work. So the whole Wichita metro population is about 600,000. Wichita by itself has a population of roughly 400,000. And the surrounding suburbs have a population of 200,000. Now, most of the suburbs around here have to depend on Wichita for one thing or another. They're not able to stand on their own. So for example, if you live in a suburb, you may have to come into Wichita for a grocery store. You might need to come into Wichita for a gas station, maybe a major medical facility like a hospital, and some of the suburbs rely on Wichita for their public school system as well. Now, there is one suburb that I will say can stand completely on its own, and if you live there, you could probably stay there and not have to leave at all, unless you worked outside of the suburb or you just felt like leaving. So I am going to save that one for the very end, so make sure you stay tuned so you can hear about that one. So if you're serious about moving to the Wichita metro area, don't just casually watch this video. Really lock in, maybe get a paper and pen, take a couple notes so you can really figure out which suburb is going to be the best fit for you. Number one, we are going to start with Andover, Kansas. So we're going to head over to the map here. Okay, so Andover. All right, so right here we can see, here's all of Wichita. And here is Andover. So Andover is located, sorry, let me put Kansas in there so it'll highlight it. So here's Andover, Kansas. So it's just to the east of Wichita. Population in Andover is roughly 15,400. The average home price in Andover is $300,000. Average household income is floating around $107,000. The median age in Andover is 39, median age of residence, and the property tax rate is 1.77%. Now, if you live here, one of the little stigmas of Andover is that the property taxes are high. So if you say you live in Andover, people will think like, oh, you're a little bougie, but you're also paying those high property taxes. So if you're writing down notes, Andover is 1.77%. So for example, if you have a home that is valued at $300,000, now your property taxes are based on how the county values your home, not your purchase price. Those are pretty much all the time going to be two different numbers. So if the county values your property at $300,000 and you live in Andover, you would pay $5,307 in yearly property taxes. All right, school district. Does Andover have a school district? Yes, they do. Andover School District is USD 385. And according to niche.com, the Andover School District has an overall rating of an A. Now, let's dig into some of the amenities in Andover. What does Andover have to offer? Let me tell you something. Here's the thing about Andover. If you live in Andover, there's only one road that you really need to be concerned about. And that road is called Andover Road. So Andover Road is this road right here that runs north and south, right pretty much in the middle of Andover. Let's go through the necessities. Does Andover have a grocery store? Yes, they do. They have a Dillon's. Dillon's is our big chain grocery store here in the Wichita metro area. They are a Kroger brand. So if you like Kroger, that's what we have here. It's called Dillon's. Andover has their own Dillon's grocery store. Does Andover have a gas station? Yes, Andover has a couple gas stations. So if you need gas on the way to work, you are covered. Does Andover have a medical facility? Yes, Andover has a Kansas Medical Center, and Andover also has their own ER. So Wesley Medical Center is one of the big hospitals here in the Wichita area. And then Wesley has standalone ER locations dispersed throughout the city, throughout Wichita, and then in some of the connected suburbs as well. They have your basic fast food, so McDonald's, Wendy's, KFC, all that good stuff. There is a Starbucks. They just built a brand new Starbucks out in Andover not too long ago. And then you could also enjoy some local favorites like the Metro Bistro and the Rusted Rooster, which I heard has really good breakfast and lunch options. So you do have some food options out there in Andover. I just named a couple of them. There are some more things going on out there as well. Now let's talk about fun and entertainment. What is there to do in Andover? So in Andover, you can find a couple things to do. So they have a really nice park called the 13th Street Sports Park right over here off of 13th Street. They have baseball diamonds over there, pickleball courts, sand volleyball, a really nice playground. So a great place to get out and get some fresh air, take your dog walking, take the kids, the whole nine. So you've got that. Andover also has a place called the Andover Amphitheater where they have live music here and there. Andover also has its own YMCA facility. So YMCAs are very popular here in the area. We have some very nice YMCA facilities here. Andover's location was actually destroyed during the tornado in 2022. So they just rebuilt it and opened it, I believe at the beginning of 2024. You can do the sports classes for your kids, go work out there, volleyball, basketball, outdoor water park, indoor swimming pool, all of that good stuff. Andover also has 2 golf courses. So if you're into golf, they have the Flint Hills Golf Course, which is rated one of the best in the country by Golf Digest, by the way. And they also have the Teradyne Country Club as well. Okay, so that's a little synopsis of Andover. Let's go ahead and move on to our next suburb. Just joking. Before we move on to our next suburb, let's talk about proximity. So let's go from Andover to the airport. So from Andover to the airport, got about a 21-minute drive. And if you live in Andover, you're gonna take Highway 400 right here, straight all the way out to the airport. So pretty much a straight shot, depending on where you live in Andover. But when you hop on 400, Highway 400 is also known as Kellogg around here, or Highway 54. So straight shot down 400, about a 20-minute drive, okay? And then Andover to, let's do downtown Wichita, about a 20-minute drive from Andover to downtown Wichita. All right, so that gives you an idea about proximity, getting into town. If you work in Wichita, that's what you're looking at there. Let's hop right over to our next suburb, Bel Aire, Kansas. So here is Bel Aire. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see where it's oriented. just pretty much like northeast of Wichita. So Bel Aire, shout out to Bel Aire, used to live there for over 15 years. Population in Bel Aire is 9,500 people. Average home price is $258,000. Average household income, $92,000. And the median age of residents in Bel Aire is 35. Property tax rate in Bel Aire is 1.64%. So let's use that $300,000 home value example. If your home is valued at $300,000 by the county, you would pay $4,908 in yearly property taxes. Now, Andover is in Butler County, and Bel Aire is actually in Sedgwick County. Most of the suburbs that we look at today are going to be in Sedgwick County. Let's talk about school district. Does Bel Aire have their own school district? Bel Aire does not have their own school district. Bel Aire is definitely one of those suburbs that needs Wichita to survive. Bel Aire and Wichita are like seamless, right up against each other. Depending on where you live in Bel Aire, you could get to Wichita in like a minute or 2 minutes. At most, I would say a 10-minute drive into Wichita if you live in Bel Aire. So they're right next to each other. But Bel Aire does not have their own school district. They are actually serviced by 2 school districts. Most of Bel Aire is going to be serviced by Wichita Public Schools, which is USD 259. And then we have a small section of Bel Aire that is serviced by Circle School District. According to niche.com, Wichita Public Schools has an overall rating of a B-, and Circle School District has an overall rating of C+. All right, let's talk about amenities and necessities in Bel Aire. Does Bel Aire have a grocery store? No, they do not. Does Bel Aire have a gas station? No, they do not. Does Bel Aire have medical facilities, hospital, ER? No, they do not. What food options are there in Bel Aire? There is a Family Dollar in Bel Aire. That is the only thing that is there. There used to be a pizza place, and there used to be a Mexican restaurant in Bel Aire, but not anymore. The pizza place is where the Family Dollar is, and the Mexican restaurant is State Farm Insurance. Just a little tidbit of information for you. All right, and entertainment-wise, what is there to actually do in Bel Aire? So in Bel Aire, they do have a city pool in one of the subdivisions in Central Park subdivision. So that is open to only residents of Bel Aire. Bel Aire also has a rec center, and at the rec center, you can enroll your kids in sports. I know they have volleyball, baseball, I think t-ball, and then they also have workout classes for adults as well. And I will say Bel Aire does do some good community activities. They have one of the best Easter egg hunts in the city. So if you have kids, make sure you check out the Easter egg hunt. They have it from ages 0 all the way up to like over 12. And they have tons of eggs. They do a really good job. They bring out the food trucks, and they have like a kite festival and face painting and all kinds of stuff. So it's really a good time. Outside of that, not too much to do in Bel Aire. But like I said before, Bel Aire is right next to Wichita, so you're literally just a couple minutes away. Like when I lived in Bel Aire, my drive to the grocery store was closer than the drive to the grocery store where I live now. I live in Wichita now, and it takes me longer to get to the grocery store. So just for a little bit of reference. Okay, let's head to the map. So yes, there's Bel Aire. So yeah, goes here, starting at over here in Oliver, and then kind of goes over here to the east to 127th Street. But the bulk of Bel Aire is over here. This is where the bulk of the residential area is going to be. This is more industrial over here. There's a basketball location over here. You can see it right there on here, a bunch of basketball courts and stuff. There's like a FedEx building and a bunch of other stuff, but most of your residential is here. All right, let's go to Bel Aire, Kansas let's go to the airport first. So Bel Aire to the airport, about 16 minutes. So your route to get to the airport, you can do this a couple different ways, depending on if you're on the northern end of Bel Aire or the southern end. This has you going through 45th Street right here. I rarely took that, and you know why? Especially if you're going to the airport. Let me show you why. See this right here? Train tracks. And you don't want to get caught by that train if you're going to the airport. So what I would do, if you live up here, you could just hop on 254 and then work your way down, or you could go to 96 and work your way over and then get to the airport this way. So got a couple different options there. All right, and then let's go to downtown Wichita. So from Bel Aire to downtown Wichita, 15-minute drive. Okay, next, number 3, we have Kechi, Kansas. And let's put in Kechi. Okay, so Kechi, you can see, located north of Wichita, just north of Bel Aire. Population in Kechi, 2,900. The average home price is $276,000. Average household income, $103,000, and the median resident age is 39. Property tax rates in Kechi is 1.58%. On a $300,000 valued home, you would pay $4,739 in yearly property taxes. Okay, does Kechi have their own school district? They do not. So if you have children and you live in Kechi, you have 2 school districts that service the area. One is Wichita Public Schools, USD 259, which on niche.com, just to remind you, has an average rating of a B-, and also Valley Center Public Schools, which on niche.com has an average rating of an A-. All right, let's hop into the necessity. Does Kechi have a grocery store? No, they do not have a grocery store. Does Kechi have a gas station? They have a Jumpstart gas station. Medical facilities, there are none. You'd have to go into Wichita. That would be your closest one. Food options. If it's late at night and you're craving some McDonald's fries, sorry, you got to go into Wichita if you live in Kechi. So they actually don't have any of the big chain fast food restaurants there. You would have to head into Wichita for all of that. Food options that they do have are the Old School Tap House. They also have a really unique location called Elderslie Farm. Really nice restaurant, and you can also do some activities there as well, which I'll mention in a second. And then they also have a place called Gino's Barbecue. All right, let's move on to the fun and entertainment. What is there to do in Kechi? Not too much going on in Kechi. There is a place called Kechi Park. They have playground, lake, walking paths, and stuff like that. And then also Elderslie Farm. Along with the restaurant, they also have an actual blackberry farm. So you can go there and pick blackberries. Super fun experience, highly recommend. I haven't been in many years, but now that I'm talking about it, it's gonna be on my list to go to this summer. All right, so let's look at Kechi's location as far as getting to the airport. All right, so Kechi to the airport, 15 minutes. Not bad. You're just gonna hop on 254 because you can hit 254 right here, head over 235, and then boom, at the airport. Not bad at all. Downtown Wichita, from Kechi, you can get there 14 minutes. Okay, so I hope you guys are getting to see that although we have a lot of different suburbs, none of them are really far from Wichita at all. So you don't have to worry about a 45-minute drive or anything like that to get into the city to access some of the things going on here. Relatively close in location. Okay, moving right along, let's get into number 4, and that one is Goddard, Kansas. Okay, so Goddard is located west of Wichita, right off of Highway 400. So let me give you the stats on Goddard. Population is 5,100. Average home price, $282,000. Average household income is $92,000. And the median resident age is 33. Property tax rate for Goddard is 1.6%. On a $300,000 value property, you would pay $4,798 in yearly property taxes. So, does Goddard have its own school district? Yes, they do. Goddard Public Schools, also known as USD 265, receives an average rating of an A- on niche.com. All right, let's hop right into the amenities. What does Goddard have? Do they have a grocery store? Goddard does not have a Dillon's, but they do have a Walmart Supercenter. So you've got your retail shopping in the Walmart and then the full grocery store in there as well. Gas stations. Yes, Goddard does have a Quick Trip and a Quick Shop. Medical facilities. Goddard does not have its own standalone hospital or ER. You would have to head into Wichita, or you could head up north to Maize. We'll talk about Maize in a little bit. You could head to either of those locations for any medical needs. Next is food options. So Goddard does have your big chain fast food restaurants, McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Taco Bell, and Subway. And then you've got some local favorites like Ginger Asian Cuisine and also a place called The Sandbox. Now let's head into the fun and entertainment. So you just heard me talk about The Sandbox for food. You could also head to The Sandbox for a little bit of fun. They have sand volleyball courts and pickleball courts alongside the restaurant. Goddard also has a location called Tanganyika Wildlife Park. Think of it like a smaller scale zoo. They've got live animals there. You can go there and do a lot of hands-on experiences with the animals as well. And I'm pretty sure they have a splash pad at the wildlife park too. Another thing that Goddard has is a water park called Blast Off Bay. So there's a hotel in Goddard, and then in tandem with it, like literally they're hooked together, is the Blast Off Bay water park. So a great place to go cool off in the summer. Not even in the summer. If you want to go there in the winter, you can go in the winter. It's an indoor water park. You could do birthday parties there. So that is another thing that Goddard has. And a couple local things. They have a Genesis Sports Complex where they have a bunch of baseball diamonds. And then you could also head to the Goddard Linear Park to access some playgrounds, green space, and also they have a splash pad there as well. Okay, let's head to the map and look at proximity from Goddard to the airport and downtown Wichita. All right. So Goddard is out west, so we should be a little bit closer to the airport. All right, so 11-minute drive from Goddard into the airport. Again, Goddard's right off of Highway 400, as is the airport. So literally straight shot, boom, at the airport. And then to downtown Wichita, we have an 18-minute drive into downtown Wichita. Again, straight shot right off of Highway 400. Okay, next we have Rose Hill, Kansas. So we're heading back out east to Rose Hill. So Rose Hill is going to give you that rural kind of small town feel. So if that's what you're looking for, this would be a really great option. So you can see here's Wichita. So Rose Hill is like southeast of Wichita. Let's look at the stats on Rose Hill. So population is 4,300. Average home price, $251,000. Average household income is $95,000. And the median resident age is 34. The property tax rate out in Rose Hill is 1.77%. It is also in Butler County along with Andover. So on a $300,000 valued home, you would pay $5,304 in annual property taxes. All right, let's hop into the school district. Does Rose Hill have its own school district? Yes, Rose Hill does have its own school district, USD 394. And on niche.com, Rose Hill School District received an average rating of a B-. Let's hop into the amenities. What does Rose Hill have going on? So, do they have a grocery store? Yes, they have a Dillon's grocery store. Gas station? Yes, they have a Casey's gas station. Medical facilities, you would have to head into Andover, which is the next town over, if you needed to access an ER. And food options, they've got Sonic, Subway, Pizza Hut, and then some local locations are the Lewis Rose Hill Cafe, Ziggy's Coffee, and also Happy House, which is a Chinese restaurant. So what is there to do for fun out in Rose Hill? Well, they have a location called the Strike Zone, which is baseball fields and batting cages. They also have quite a few local parks, and they have something really eclectic and really neat called Jurassic art. It's actually metal art made into dinosaurs and all kinds of other really cool stuff. And around Christmas time, if you've seen Christmas Vacation and Clark Griswold goes to town on the house, we have a house here in Rose Hill that's known as the Griswold House. They go to town with the Christmas decorations, and so that's kind of cool. You can go out there and take a look at that during the holidays. Okay, let's head to the map to see what we're looking at as far as proximity to the airport and downtown Wichita. Oops. All right, to the airport, we have approximately 30-minute drive for you to the airport. So there aren't really any highways that go east to west down in the south part here between Wichita and Rose Hill. So you'd have to head up. This is Andover Road right here. You could either go all the way up to here to hit Kellogg, or you could turn off here, and then you're going to take Kellogg straight out to the airport. So about a 30-minute drive to the airport from Rose Hill. And then let's look at downtown Wichita. We have a 26-minute drive to get to downtown Wichita. So a little bit further out, a little bit more rural. So again, if you're looking for that feel, Rose Hill would be a great option for you. At number 6, we have Park City, Kansas. Okay, so Park City is directly north of Wichita. It is west of Kechi. Stats on Park City. So the population in Park City is 8,300. The average home price is $167,000. The average household income is $77,000, and the median age of residents is 35. Property tax percent in Park City is 1.63%, which means a $300,000 valued home would have a property tax payment of $4,899 a year. Let's talk about school district. Does Park City have its own school district? No, it does not. Park City is serviced by 2 school districts. One is Wichita Public Schools, USD 259, average rating of B- on niche.com, and the other one is Valley Center Public Schools, which is USD 262. On niche.com, Valley Center Public Schools received an average rating of an A-. Let's get into the vibe check for Park City. So, is there a grocery store? Yes. Park City has Leaker's Family Foods. Is there a gas station? Park City has a Quick Trip and a Sinclair. Now, when it comes to food, you've got a couple fast food options like Wendy's, McDonald's, and Sonic. You also have some sit-down restaurants like Applebee's and Cracker Barrel. And you have some local favorites like Auntie C's restaurant, which is a diner-style location, and Chopsticks, which sells Chinese cuisine. Okay, so what is there to do for fun in Park City? You got a couple things to choose from. So Park City has a location called the Hartman Arena. Now, our big arena here in the Wichita metro area is located downtown, and that's called the Intrust Bank Arena. That one was built in 2010, and that arena is where the big name artists and the big sporting events will go. Like just a couple months ago in March Madness was here, so that was a really exciting time. Now, At the Hartman Arena, they still have some good entertainment options. You could go there and listen to some live music. They've got some expo events that they hold there, as well as some sporting events like wrestling tournaments and cheer competitions. In addition to the Hartman Arena, Park City has a BMX racing track, so if that's your thing, you head to Park City. They also have a location called 81 Speedway, which is a dirt racing track. Last but not least, when it comes to bigger attractions, Park City has the Crosswinds Casino. So if the casino scene is your vibe, you know where to go, right up to Park City. Okay, let's look at the proximity from Park City to the airport and to downtown Wichita. All right, Park City to the airport, we have a 14-minute drive. So Park City is really close to I-135. You're going to take 135 down to 235, get off on 400, aka Kellogg, and then you would exit on the airport exit. Now to downtown Wichita from Park City, you have a 17-minute drive. So basically just straight south from Park City will get you to downtown. Okay, that wraps up Park City. Let's go to number 7, which is Maize, Kansas. All right, Maize, Kansas. Okay, Maize is located over here, northwest of Wichita, northwest. Let's get into the stats on Maize. The population is 5,900. The average home price is $280,000, and the average household income is $69,000. The median age of residents is 44, and the property tax rate is 1.76%. So on a $300,000 valued home, you would pay $5,284 in yearly property taxes. So you may have noticed the property taxes in Maize are a little bit higher compared to some of the other suburbs that we've done. Now, when it comes to property taxes, it's going to be your county and your suburb that impact your property taxes the most. So Andover and Rose Hill are located in Butler County, and all of the other suburbs that we've done are located in Sedgwick County. So you would think that the ones in Sedgwick County should have similar tax rates, but it's really going to come down to your specific suburb. And I do know that the suburb of Maize pays a little bit more into their school district. So that's why those taxes are a little bit higher. So speaking of school district, does Maize have its own school district? Yes, they do. Maize Public Schools, also known as USD 266, received an average rating of an A- on niche.com. Okay, let's get into the vibe check for Maize, Kansas. Does Maize have a grocery store? No, they do not. You would have to drive into Wichita for a grocery store. Does Maize have a gas station? They have a quick shop actually in Maize, and then several in close proximity. I feel like Maize is very similar to Bel Aire, whereas it can't stand alone by itself, but everything that you need if you live in that suburb, you're going to be able to get to within just a couple minutes. Medical facilities, ER hospital, no. You would have to go into Wichita to get to the closest ER. Food options, there are a few like local restaurants. So they've got a place called Nola's Pizza, and you've got several things like within 5 minutes down Maize Road that you can get to. Entertainment options in Maize. So they do have a splash pad. Maize also has a location called Prairie Pines. So let me tell you a little bit about Prairie Pines. Sorry, it's like a tongue twister for me. Prairie Pines. Say that 5 times fast, right? Prairie Pines. So this is where you can go if you like a nice fresh Christmas tree. This is where you'll go, where you can pick one out. Really beautiful location to go there. And then in the summertime, they have like a lavender farm type of thing going on. I have not been there for the lavender, but they have a lavender farm and then like a lavender shop where you can buy all things lavender. And then if you like Halloween and you like the idea of running around in the dark and having people chase you, and being afraid, then you would like the Field of Screams, because that's also located at Prairie Pines during October. So just a little bit about Maize, and let's head to the map where we can see our proximity. All right, so Maize. Now let's see here. I'm not into the running through a cornfield and having people chase me, so I do not have any personal experience with the Field of Screams, but I hear it's very popular. Okay, so 13 minutes to the airport from Maize. So Maize is north. So our northern highway is going to be, you can catch 96 and it'll take you from east to west, but it runs along the north side of Wichita. So we get on 96 and then head down 235 and then hop on 400 and then to the airport. And then to downtown Wichita, we are looking at a 17-minute drive. So 96 to 235 down to 135 and then exit the Wichita exit, or the Wichita downtown exit. All right, so that is a little bit about Maize. Let's head into number 8, which is Valley Center. So Valley Center is another northern suburb. So you can see it's very close to Park City and also to Kechi. Let's look at the stats on Valley Center. So population is 8,900. Median home value, $214,000. Median household income, $73,500. The median age of residence is 34, and the property tax rate is 1.73%. On a $300,000 home, you would pay $5,195 in yearly property taxes. So Valley Center has its own school district, and that is USD 262. According to niche.com, they have received an average rating of an A-. Let's head into the vibe check for Valley Center. So, grocery store. Valley Center does not have a grocery store. It is very close to a Walmart supercenter. Does Valley Center have a gas station? They have a Casey's and a Quick Shop gas station. Does Valley Center have medical facilities? No standalone medical facilities like a hospital or an ER. You'd have to head into Wichita for those. What does Valley Center have as far as food? They've got a couple fast food options. You got Pizza Hut, Sonic, and a coffee shop called Scooters that's pretty popular around the area. Valley Center also has some local food favorites like the Hive Bar and Grill and Big Larry's Burgers. Let's head to the map. All right, guys. So Valley Center to the airport. We are looking at a 19-minute drive. So you're north here. You'll go down to 135, connect to 96, 235, down to 400. So 19 minutes to the airport and to downtown Wichita. Very similar in distance. So you've got an 18-minute drive here down to Wichita. You're going to hop on 135 and then straight shot, get off on the downtown exit. Okay, so that's Valley Center. Next, we're going to go to number 9. Number 9 is Haysville, Kansas. Haysville. Okay, so Haysville is one of our southern suburbs. So here is Wichita, and you can see Haysville is pretty much directly south of Wichita. All right, so let's get into the stats on Haysville. The population in Haysville is 11,100. Median home value, $160,000. Median household income, $69,000. And the median age of residence is 35. The property tax rate in Haysville is 1.66%. On a $300,000 valued home, you would pay $4,979,000. And does Haysville have their own school district? Yes, they do. Haysville Public Schools, which is USD 261, received an average rating of a B on niche.com. All right, so what does Haysville have to offer? Do they have a grocery store? Haysville has a Leaker's Family Foods. Do they have a gas station? Yes, they have a Casey's and a Quick Shop. Do they have medical facilities like an ER? No medical facilities, but you could head to the last suburb that I'm going to talk about, and you can access an ER there. Okay, so food-wise, what does Haysville have to offer? Haysville has your big chain fast food options, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, and Sonic. Haysville also has a couple local favorites like Hikari, Sushi, and Ramen, and Azteca's Mexican Grill. And as far as fun things to do, there's actually not too much going on in Haysville. They do have a jump land for the littles and a handful of parks like the Pear Tree Park, Orchard Acres, and the Haysville Historic Park. So if you're wanting something else fun to do, you would have to head into Wichita, or you could head into this last suburb that we're about to talk about. Okay, let's look at the map here. Haysville to the airport. All right, so from Haysville to the airport, a 15-minute drive. So you're gonna go through town here, hop on 235, and then go north and get right to the airport. And then to downtown Wichita, we're looking at a 16-minute drive. So pretty much a straight shot. You're gonna hit 35 and then 135, and then that'll get you to downtown Wichita. Okay, we're gonna head into suburb number 10. You're probably wondering why I look different. Listen, I'm sitting down to edit the video, and like the last 2 minutes, I got no audio. So here I am, re-recording. Okay, number 10 on our list, and again, this is the suburb that can stand on its own feet, and that is Derby, Kansas. So let's head to Derby on the map. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so Derby sits just slightly southeast of Wichita, and this suburb is our biggest suburb out of all of the ones that we have talked about today. So let's head right into the stats. The population of Derby is 26,000, the average home price $221,000, and the average household income sits at $82,000. Now, the median age of resident for Derby is 35, and the property tax rate sits right at 1.64%, which means that on a $300,000 valued home, you would pay $4,908. And Derby does have their own school district called USD 260. On niche.com, it received an average rating of a B. So let's hop into the vibe check for Derby. All right, so like I said, Derby has a little bit of everything. So grocery stores, yes, Derby has a Dillon's grocery store as well as a Walmart with the grocery store section in there. Gas stations, Derby's got you covered. Got Quick Trip, Casey's, and the Dillon's grocery store also has the gas station attached to it. When it comes to medical facilities, Derby has you covered as well. They have their own hospital called Rock Regional Hospital, as well as one of the Wesley ER locations. Now for food options, you have a little bit of everything out here in Derby as well. For fast food, if you're a Chick-fil-A fan, this is the only suburb that has its own Chick-fil-A location. They also have McDonald's, Chipotle, Starbucks, McAllister's Deli, and some sit-down restaurants as well. You've got Applebee's, some sports bars, cafes, and a nice Mediterranean spot called Le Alley. Now, when it comes to entertainment, Derby also has you covered. They're the only suburb that has their own standalone outdoor water park. It's called Rock River Rapids Aquatic Park. In addition to that, they have something kind of unique called Field Station Dinosaurs. It's a place where they have some replica statues of dinosaurs intermixed with a putt-putt mini golf course. Derby also has the second of the two sandbox locations located in the Wichita, Kansas area. And remember, that's the spot where you can do the sand volleyball, pickleball courts, and also grab yourself something to eat. Derby also has an event space called Madison Avenue Central Park. And if you enjoy kayaking and canoeing, you have to check out the 4-acre Warren Riverview Park. They also have a place for the littles called Adventure Creative Indoor Park. It's a nice little indoor place for the littles to play. They've got a ball pit, all kinds of stuff that the kids can climb on. I just took my 1.5-year-old there like 2 weeks ago, and he had the time of his life. And to top it off, Derby has their own bowling alley called Let's Roll Derby and a movie theater called Derby Plaza Theaters. Okay, so that wraps up the vibe check on Derby. So as you can see, they have a little bit of everything out there. So let's head to the map and check out the proximity to the airport and downtown Wichita. All right, let's start here in Derby, Kansas. And we want to go to the airport. Okay, so from Derby to the airport, you're looking at a 19-minute drive. You would head here on K15, which is a western highway that runs north and south on the west side of Derby. And then you would connect to 235 here, head up, and here's Kellogg, aka 400, and then get off on the airport exit. So about a 20-minute drive to the airport. Let's head to downtown Wichita. And from Derby to downtown Wichita, you're looking at a 16-minute drive. You would head on K15 and then all the way up to 135 and then get off right over here on the downtown Wichita exit. Okay, beautiful people, that wraps up the top 10 suburbs here in the Wichita metro area. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're serious about moving here, I hope you took some notes. If you didn't, that's okay. You can go back and rewatch the video. Listen, you guys, if there are any questions that you have about the suburbs that I didn't answer, feel free to put them in the comments below. And if you have not watched my 10 things you'll love about living in Wichita video, you need to make sure you go give that a watch. It'll be somewhere here on the screen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, peace, love, and blessings. Bye.